Hey family, before we get into today's story, I'd really appreciate your support. Subscribing is one of the best ways to help us out. It's quick, free, and keeps the awesome content coming. Every listen, like, and share truly means a lot. Let's keep this channel growing. Thank you so much. I put a voice recorder in my wife's car, discovered her cheating. Then her mom dropped a bombshell. I'm not someone who wants to witness everything falling apart and burning. When I noticed something was wrong with my wife, I didn't hesitate to talk to her about it. I asked her why she had stopped talking to me, hugging me, and being close to me. I even asked her why she seemed uncomfortable with my touch. It wasn't easy to get her to open up at first, but eventually she did, and what I heard broke my heart. She said she didn't feel like I was enough for her, that she had to do everything herself and couldn't rely on me. She felt like she had to make all the decisions and handle everything, including the kids. She even said that maybe she would be better off alone. Hearing all of this was a shock, but I didn't want to fight with her. I love her so much that I accepted what she said and told her I understood her pain. I promised her I would work on my behavior so she wouldn't have to stress about it. I just want to make things right because she means the world to me, but it's tough. You know, despite all that I do, I still have my own thoughts that keep me awake at night. That's actually why I ended up seeking support from this group, because the accusations my wife is making against me just aren't true, at least not from my perspective. I genuinely believe I'm a good husband who meets the norm. I work around 8 hours from home, and when I'm finished, I dedicate myself to taking care of my boys. I play with them, feed them, take the older one to swim lessons, and tuck them in at bedtime. I'll even wake up in the middle of the night if they need me, and it's not just about the kids. I also handle household chores, the dishes, groceries, and some cleaning, although my wife thinks I'm not efficient enough at it, so she prefers to take over. I also take care of the car and other responsibilities related to our new house. I do all of this to make her life easier, because I know how challenging it can be with 2 little boys. But the thing is, I'm not always the type of person who's constantly proactive. You know, there are those people who can't sit on the couch for 5 minutes without thinking about what to do next, what needs fixing, what business to start, what chores are left to do. My father-in-law is like that, but I'm not. I have my own unique way of doing things, and I believe that's okay too. At the end of the day, when the kids are finally asleep, work is checked off and the house is in order, I look forward to unwinding with a movie or some video games. I've never been the entrepreneurial type who wants to start my own business. I thrive when I'm given tasks to excel at in my field. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Plenty of people are like me. I'm not chasing some flashy career or dreaming of swimming in money. I'm just an ordinary guy. And yeah, people tell me I'm good looking who simply wants a happy, healthy family and a decent living. But things have been different lately. I've noticed my wife having issues with my approach. Even though we've had years of blissful marriage, it all came to a head in December. And since then, I've been pushing myself to go against my natural personality. I've been doing extra groceries, fixing up things around the house, barely taking a moment to rest in the evenings. I thought she'd appreciate it, but her attitude towards me remained unchanged. Summoning courage, I confronted her with heightened emotions. Directly I inquired whether she desired to salvage our marriage. Her response, an uncertain "I don't know," struck me forcefully. Quote, seemed unfathomable. Was she genuinely unaware, or did she simply exhibit indifference? Despite my frustration, I pressed forward, questioning her willingness to engage in marriage counseling. Once again, she audaciously echoed that exasperating response. I don't know. It became unbearable. Losing composure, I admonished her, emphasizing the inappropriateness of indecision. At this crucial juncture, the potential consequence of our children having divorced parents loomed, and her lack of commitment was deemed unacceptable. She finally agreed to go to therapy. After a lot of convincing, however, staying true to her usual behavior, she didn't show any interest in taking the lead. I had to do all the work in finding a therapist. On my own, in one of our counseling sessions, she revealed some harsh truths that really hurt. She confessed that she only married me to impress her family and fit into their idea of a perfect, happy family with beautiful children. She admitted she was never truly in love with me, but was just captivated by the idea of marriage. To make matters worse, I later discovered she had met with a fellow priest behind my back to discuss our marriage, a betrayal that left me angry and hurt. Despite all this, I persevered and found a good therapist for us. We're now heading into our 3rd session, but it hasn't been smooth. We learned we have Different ways of expressing love. I desire touch, while she prioritizes getting things done. It's been a constant struggle, and to add to it, she hasn't shown me any physical affection since we started counseling. No hugs, no touch, nothing. The therapist was surprised when she learned that my wife and I hadn't slept in the same room for 6 months. My wife tried to explain. It's saying she shares the bed with the kids, and there's no space for me. The therapist was straightforward, telling my wife it sets a terrible example for the kids, denying their own father access to the bedroom. She even suggested we should go to IKEA and buy a single bed to put next to the big one. So I did that. I bought the bed, set it up, and now I sleep there. But I still feel just as alone as before. My wife is on the far left, the boys are in the middle, and I'm stuck on the far right, feeling like an outsider in my own marriage since the beginning of this issue. My wife has kept changing her story now. She claims she's depressed from being stuck at home with the kids all the time. She's saying she made those hurtful remarks because she was too emotional, but I would never think of saying anything like that to her, no matter how upset I am. So my wife went back to work and we hired a nanny to take care of the kids. The only change I noticed is that we started talking more, but I'm not just her buddy, I'm her husband too, and there's no closeness between us, and it doesn't seem like it's going to improve anytime soon. No signs of it. She doesn't care about our marriage counseling sessions. I'm the one who has to keep setting them up. Update. My buddies conveyed their suspicions, asserting that my wife was indeed cheating on me. At first, I dismissed it as if it were some science fiction scenario, akin to a plot from a movie. I couldn't fathom that my wife would engage in such behavior. However, today marked a shift. It has become an undeniable reality, and you won't believe how darn easy it was. To catch her red-handed, I put a voice-activated recorder in our car, not even a GPS. Just 3 days in, and she used the car to go to work, hit the gym, and bam, she called him, or he called her twice. Not sure who made the first move, but I heard every word of their video conversation on the phone, got all the evidence I need. Man, they were talking about seriously personal stuff, just like my wife and I used to when we first met 9 years ago. You know, all that attraction, inside jokes and stuff. I haven't had that with her in a long time, and get this, they were even planning a vacation together, and she wants to visit him in July. Can you believe that she gave him a 2-year time frame to move back to our country? I mean, for real, I can't even wrap my head around it, and the way they were talking about his stuff, and how she straight up said she's going to be his wife and leave me. Soon they were even discussing their favorite positions, so you know they were real close. It's all right. There I just listened to an hour-long recording of that mess. I need to process it all. Got to meet with an attorney next week. No doubt about it, and let me tell you, thanks to my friend, if it wasn't for his suggestion, I would have never bought that voice recording device. Somebody could say that I'm an a-hole for placing it in the car and violating my wife's privacy, but I don't give a crap. This is what I should have done. I don't feel guilty at all. I can't stop thinking about my kids and what she's done. They've been up to something since last September, and it took me 2 whole months to notice any changes in her behavior. Next week, I'll be taking care of my old father in another city for the entire week. That means she won't be going to work, and instead will be using my home office. And you know what that also means? She'll probably be talking to him in my office. So should I place the recorder in there for the next week, or do you think I've got enough evidence already? Out of the blue, my wife tried calling her ex-boyfriend not once, not twice, but 4 times in a row at 10 p.m. I found out because we used to have this app that saved both our numbers, so I could see all the incoming and outgoing calls. Why would my wife, who never mentioned her ex before, suddenly be calling him so persistently? It drove me insane. I couldn't let it go. I decided to check her iMessages on her laptop. Turns out, after calling him 4 times, she even sent him a message saying, "I'm not giving up until you actually answer and communicate with me in a respectful and civilized manner." I couldn't believe my eyes. I confronted her about it, and she straight up denied it, but I had the app and her outgoing calls right there in front of me. She couldn't worm her way out of it. She had no choice but to finally admit that she did try to reach her ex. I questioned her about the calls, and she said she was just returning his call. But when I asked if she had messaged him afterward, she denied it, so I pulled up the message she had sent him, and that's when she came up with an explanation. She claimed he had called her while drunk, spouting nonsense, and she had told him off and hung up, but later she felt guilty and tried calling him multiple times when he wouldn't. pick up, and then sent the message. Turns out, he never replied. It was quite a convoluted story, but I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was off. I'm feeling uncertain about how to process this. It all occurred when she started distancing herself from me. Her perspective is that it's not strange or negative for her to have kept it from me. It doesn't hold much significance to her. The fact remains that any contact with an ex is a red flag. For me, it's simply unacceptable. Is she being unfaithful? Our closeness has been lacking for the past 6 months, which is exactly when these calls took place. Updates. I now have solid proof that our problems aren't what she's been telling everyone. The catch is, she doesn't know I'm aware of it. None of her family or friends know either. They all think we're just going through a temporary tough time. She comes from a Catholic family with 3 sisters, and she goes to church every Sunday. We live in a small town with a population of 177, and we recently built a house that's still not finished. I found out that she's planning to ask me to leave soon so she can have some time alone. Within 2 years, her previous boyfriend will move to our small town to live with her in our house. Along with our 2 young boys, she hopes people will understand and won't complain, saying that she needs a father figure for her kids. Interestingly, the previous boyfriend is actually her first boyfriend, and they were together for 5 years before she married me. We've been together for 9 years. Even though he lives abroad, he visits our country frequently. I won't let myself be manipulated in that way. I've taken the step of hiring an attorney, and will be meeting with them soon. I have recordings that could potentially damage her reputation. Update. I had a conversation with my lawyer, and he gave me some insightful advice. It turns out that going all out and trying to cause trouble for her during the divorce wouldn't be the smartest move. Since we have kids and need to co-parent for the next 15-16 years, I need to be mindful of that. I also have a lot of respect for her family and don't want to involve them in the divorce as witnesses. Plus, winning custody of the kids isn't an option, as they're young and need to be with their mother in the small town an hour away from me in the capital city. Moreover, I wouldn't be allowed to sell our house because the kids need a decent place to live, and we don't have another option. The place they're staying at right now is owned by her dad, so it's just a temporary arrangement. It sucks, but that's the reality here in the Czech Republic, Europe. After our conversation, the lawyer sent her the divorce papers set to be delivered right after Easter in the Czech Republic. Yesterday, I had a day off from work, so I was taking care of my 1-year-old son while she went to work in the capital city, about an hour away. Meanwhile, my brother helped me pack up all my belongings from the apartment and load them into his car. To add to the chaos, the postman delivered the divorce papers, or rather an invitation to mediation, so we could try to divide everything in a civilized manner and have an amicable divorce. According to the papers, she's in a relationship with this guy, mentioning his first and last name, and that's apparently the reason for the divorce. But hey, at least the evidence I have will come in handy when it comes to child support. And all that, it'll definitely be some leverage in my favor. As soon as she walked into the house, I confronted her and told her that I knew everything. I had solid proof, and I was deeply hurt by it. I insisted that she contact my lawyer then. I handed her the divorce papers and left to visit her parents. Naturally, she started asking me what I knew and how I knew it, and she denied everything. Her parents were in shock, but they believed me. I had recorded the entire conversation. Just like my attorney had advised, I started by asking them if they thought I was a good and caring husband and father. They gave their approval, which means she won't be able to use them as witnesses against me in court. Just like I mentioned earlier, they believed me and understood the gravity of what she has done and how it has devastated our lives. I expressed my gratitude for their understanding and headed to the capital city. In the meantime, I reached out to a friend who helped spread the news to her circle of friends. So guess what? 2 hours later, my awesome brother-in-law called me and said that she confessed that she cheated on me with the AP, but she conveniently forgot to mention any closeness with him. Classic. My brother-in-law also filled me in on how everyone's on my side and how she single-handedly destroyed our once perfect family. Then he goes on to tell me that everything can be saved because, hey, he's cheated on his wife too, but she forgave him and now they're living happily ever after. Hilarious, right? Like, that's going to make me feel better. Then to add to the circus, her father gives me a call and starts spouting off about how it's all her fault and she's completely clueless about what she's done. He goes on about how the AP will never set foot in his house again, and how he's cutting off financial support from my soon-to-be ex-wife. He even tried calling the AP, but of course, the guy didn't bother picking up. And then, in a grand finale of absurdity, he tells me he thinks it can all be saved. But wait, there's more. Her sister sends me a text saying she's fully on my side, but again, she thinks it can be saved. Okay, it's good that they're on my side, but God, what the heck are they talking about? Are they all delusional or what? It's ridiculous. As if this whole mess could be magically fixed, it's infuriating. I really don't believe our relationship can be salvaged, and I'm quite certain about it. I'm worried that others might think I don't have concrete evidence, and that my reasons for leaving her aren't enough. They're not aware of the specifics of the evidence I have. All they know is that it's some sort of tape. I've got recordings of her actually saying stuff like, "So make sure you can last longer than 3 seconds when I come to visit you in Brussels. I'm really curious if your dad's Johnson is as big as yours. I'll go up to that woman and ask her how long your brother's Johnson is, and I'll let her know how big yours is. Oh, I love you so much. Well, I'm finally going to leave my husband. About time. Do me a favor, record yourself and send me a video. I want to see what I'm missing, just showing you a glimpse of what your sad life with me will look like, giving you a generous 2 years to figure out how to move back." Here, update. As predicted by my friends, my ex is making a comeback after receiving an earful from her family. She's been sending me texts filled with apologies, acknowledging that she had no clue about her actions, expressing how unbearable life would be without me, and sincerely apologizing for everything she's done. She even talks about eagerly awaiting my grand comeback with the kids. However, it all seems like empty words and meaningless chatter to me. My lawyer finally laid out the divorce terms I want, and now we're waiting for her lawyer response. But in the meantime, my mother-in-law bombarded my phone with texts, sending Christian links about forgiveness. She thinks my wife has been possessed by an evil spirit, adding to the drama. Her sister blamed me, saying I'm the one ruining the marriage for being selfish. Now my wife is all teary-eyed and apologetic, wishing she could turn back time suddenly. I'm the selfish villain, destroying the marriage by divorcing her. Yeah, it's all on me now, like I'm the bad guy for wanting out. I sensed this shift coming, where her family would turn against me. But it's still a shock. For a brief moment, I felt guilty today, like it's all my fault. They know how to sway me, but you know what? It's tough, but I'm not changing my mind. The divorce is happening no matter what. In the Czech Republic, kids as young as ours usually stay with their mother after a divorce, so I won't have them with me all the time, living an hour away in a small town. With their kindergarten and nursery, a 50-50th split isn't feasible. I'll be an every other weekend dad with some additional access whenever I want. It's sad and painful, but it is what it is. I've been toying with this crazy idea of suggesting terms to get back together, not because I still love her, but for the kids. It wouldn't be a real marriage, just a partnership with separate finances. She'd have to move to the capital city, and I'd insist on GPS in her car and checking her phone every day. In return, I get to go on dates with random girls for 7 months, maybe even cheat during the relationship without telling her. No marriage. No big deal. It's just an idea, nothing serious, and I probably won't go through with it. I'm just desperate to silence the family, accusing me of abandoning the kids. What do you think? Crazy, right? But I don't have any other bright ideas at the moment. Update. I'm staying at my parents' place, crashing on their living room couch. The dining table has become my makeshift office, an entertainment center with my clothes scattered around. I work from home for about 8 hours a day, and then help my elderly parents, aged 90 and 82, with chores, groceries, and driving to doctor appointments. To distract myself from negative thoughts, I hit the gym or catch a movie at the cinema. I get to see my kids every weekend, with my ex dropping them off, and I drive them back. Just to clarify, I did a paternity test confirming that the boys are indeed mine. No confusion there. At least the whole situation with divorce terms is currently a mess, and it's tough to predict how it will unfold. Crashing at my parents' place leaves me with no other option as a dad of 2 and a grown adult. So I'm asking for a decent amount for my wife, and I want her to take over the mortgage for the house. She's agreed to the mortgage takeover, but is offering only a third of the money I request. Justifying it by the amount I put into building the house. It's honestly messy because I didn't cause this situation, and I'm not at fault, still I need a place to live, and 1/3 of the amount won't be enough for buying a flat. The back and forth between our lawyers continues. She's offering a small amount because she wants to keep the house, but I found out she might be forced to sell it. Honestly, that's what she should have done from the beginning. It'll be tough for her to manage the mortgage payments and pay me as well. We'll see how it all pans out regarding child support. She's asking for way more than reasonable, and we still need to come to an agreement on that. Additionally, she insists I should be the one picking up the kids from the small town and driving them back at the end of the weekend. In my opinion, it should be the other way around. She should be dropping them off, and I should be driving them back. She's the one responsible for all of this, but at the same time, she's ready to argue about the divorce terms. It's frustrating to say the least. My wife attempted to convince me that she's remorseful and regrets what she's done. She claimed to have ended things with her affair partner, sought an exorcist, confessed all the details of the affair, and left it in God's hands. I couldn't help but laugh and told her I don't care about her priest. She should be confessing to me. I gave her a chance to come clean about how many times she had been close with him. She denied it then. I brought up the party she had with her work friends in November, questioning why she rented an Airbnb instead of staying with a friend. She went numb, asking me why I keep torturing myself. I explained that if she truly felt remorseful, she wouldn't keep lying. 2 months after I left her, it was clear she wasn't being honest. I explained that for me, closeness over video chat is as significant, and I know she had it with him. She couldn't even keep track of how many times she had done it with the affair partner then. I confronted her about how she envisions us getting back together, pointing out how she would start a conversation with me and then lie in the very next moment. I asked her if she was aware that I would be checking her phone every day, and what she thought about that. She snapped back, saying, "That's not trust, that's just treating me like garbage." Right at that moment, our son interrupted, and the conversation was wrapping up. I added, "Don't forget, it's not just me you cheated on, but also our 2 beloved boys." It devastated her, and she started yelling that I better not say anything like that again in front of our kids. It's ironic, you know. Her sister spilled the beans on how my wife puts on a show of suffering and crying every day because of this mess. She's a real two-faced person, acting all sad in front of the family, but still lying to my face. She had the nerve to say that she could be with the affair partner if she wanted, and her family wouldn't do a thing about it, as if I should be grateful that she ended it with him. And now she's in control of not being with him. I mean, seriously. Update: after going back and forth with our lawyers, we've come to an agreement and the divorce will be finalized soon. She's taking the unfinished house, and the mortgage is now solely her responsibility. I want to clarify that the house is for the kids, and I don't want anyone accusing me of selling it out of revenge for her infidelity later on. Plus, I don't want to live in her small hometown, which is an hour away from the capital city where I am now. However, I am getting back the amount I invested in the house, and it's actually a decent sum. The child support amount is reasonable, and we've agreed that she drop the kids off at my place in the capital city every other weekend. I'll just have to drive them back afterward, but honestly, only seeing my kids on weekends isn't enough for me. It hurts a lot, and I can barely handle it at times. I can't bear the thought of my 1- and 3-year-old boys growing up without a father because of their mother's behavior. I wish I could have them with me, but unfortunately the law in the Czech Republic doesn't allow it. I might need to start driving there in the middle of the week, or find another way to make it work and survive. As for her, she keeps reaching out, saying she still loves me and wishes she could undo the past. She claims to be suffering every day because of what she's done. She even softened to the point where she told me she doesn't mind if I check her phone and it wouldn't make her feel bad anymore. She apologized to my parents and seemed genuinely remorseful. She's willing to do whatever it takes to make things right. Now you won't believe what I found out about her affair partner. According to our mutual friends, the guy actually dumped her. Can you believe it? Apparently he has a whole family with a kid in Brussels and didn't want to risk getting caught up in this messy situation. Turns out it was all just a game for him, and he played my wife like a fiddle. I'm moving on with my life, and I won't let her toxic behavior drag me down. The divorce is happening, and there's no going back. Good riddance to the cheater. I've got better things to focus on and a brighter future ahead of me. Life goes on, and I'm not wasting any more time looking back at the mess she created. It's time for a fresh start, and I'm ready to embrace it with open arms.